We do believe that there are other lokas, but notice the word believe. So it's taken on faith. In different religions, just about every religion of the world, all religions of the world, in fact, they talk about a post-mortem existence. If we did not exist after death in some form or the other, religion itself would not be possible. It would be pointless, sort of. It might be a nice moral exercise while we are alive, but if I'm going to die and nothing is left of me after death, what's the point of it all then? I mean, I could just bear with this life and do whatever I please, because I'll be soon gone. I could lead a reasonably good life or a dissolute life or whatever it is. Very soon it will be over anyway. If I lead a good life, it might have a good impact on others in the future. But I would be gone. So a purely reductionist, materialist perspective, it makes religion sort of pointless. So all religions think of, propose that we exist after death. Hinduism says we existed before death, we will continue to exist after death, and we go through many, many births and life. So what happens after death, before we take a birth in some other physical form? We go to different lokas, which are like different worlds, different spheres of experience. Some of them may be unpleasant. They are what are called hells or lower worlds. Some of them may be very pleasant, much better than this. They are more like dream-like experience. Some could be a very pleasant dream, some could be nightmares. So the Jivatman, it goes to these different lokas based on its past karma. Now, we don't give too much importance to this. We believe in it. We means Vedantins, Advaitins. We believe in all of this. This is there in the Upanishads. This is there in the Bhagavad Gita. Krishna teaches it also. It's a common belief in all varieties of Hinduism, Buddhism. A religion which does not talk about God, but it still talks about the individual going to different planes of existence after death and then coming back again, propelled by my past karma. So you get different kinds of experiences there, and you come back again. But the point is, here and now, I must make this breakthrough and attain to my real nature, realize my own real nature. That is the purpose of this series of continued experiences. Experience in this life, good experiences, awful experiences, experience after death, experiences in the higher heavens, higher lokas, or in the more unpleasant lokas. All of this is supposed to push me towards enlightenment. That's the point. Then that's what I should be pursuing now. I'm somehow a product of this particular body, especially the nerve of the brain and the nervous system. It's generating consciousness in some way, sentience in some way, and lo and behold, I'm this guy or this person. And when this body dies, clearly the brain will die. Clearly the nervous system will die. So it will not produce me anymore and I'm gone forever. But then there is this unexamined assumption. Is it true that I, this conscious being, am a product of material processes in this living body? Once the body dies, those processes come to a halt and I'm gone. Is it true? And it so happens that this is the big, so-called hard problem of consciousness. This is what, in the cutting edge of consciousness studies today, this is what researchers, neuroscientists, psychologists, philosophers of mind, even people in AI research, they are beginning to realize you can't reduce consciousness, sentience, down to material processes in the brain and the nervous system. In that case, my argument is that if the body dies, surely the brain will die, the nervous system will die, will perish. But if you can't reduce sentience, consciousness, brain and nervous system, what makes you so sure that the consciousness will not continue even after the death of this body? If it's not being produced by the brain, then it's there now. The brain goes, maybe I lose all my ability to interact with the world. It's like a doorway being shut, like the instrument failing. But that if the instrument fails, if the door is shut, doesn't mean I am gone forever. I could still very well be there, and I might get a new instrument with which to interact with the world. So when you say you live only once, it's a dangerously limiting philosophy. Because I'm operating on the basis, do whatever I'm going to do now, and it won't affect anything because after all, I'll be gone very soon. Well, suppose you won't be gone very soon. Then in that case, whatever I'm doing now will be carried forward.
Building that karma.
We are building that karma, we are building those samskaras, those tendencies. It will be very difficult to fight against and undo 40 years down the line, 1 or 2 lives down the line also.
It's a saying, right, that when the tree or the plant is small, you can change it, the habits, or samskara, as it keeps growing up, and we don't even know how many lives we've been here for.
Yes.
So then it's even more difficult, which I can see in myself. Like once I began to like get awareness that there's some compulsions I have,
Yeah.
which maybe are from past lives too. So the sooner you become aware, the sooner you can maybe
Careful, live more consciously. Not even prescribing that you do this or do that. More aware of we are, of what I am, what I'm thinking, what I'm saying, and what I'm doing, the better it is for us. So this YOLO is not a new philosophy.
Yeah.
It's a very ancient philosophy. In this land where we are sitting,
Yeah.
in India, there were this ancient school of materialists. They were called the Charvakas,
Okay.
and they had exactly the same philosophy: eat, drink, and make merry, because once the body is dead, it'll be burned and never come back from the ashes. So they say, um, borrow money if you must, and have fun. Nobody's going to come and collect your debts anymore. That is the school of materialists. It's entirely based on the idea that we are body and nothing other than body. And that's now, especially in this time in the 21st century, this is the big question. Are we really just the body, just the brain, and the nervous system, and nothing more? And who's asking this question? Not Vedantists, not Buddhists. The neuroscientists are asking this question. Philosophers of mind today are asking this question.
And Deepak Chopra, Rajiv Malhotra, some people are coming out and taking the discussion forward.
David Chalmers, he's the one who coined the term hard problem of consciousness. I've heard of Bernardo Kastrup, of Donald Hoffman. These are people who are seriously questioning whether consciousness can at all be reduced to just body and mind, bodily functions.
You spent a lot of time in the Himalayas. Was there any like interesting experience or encounter you had? I don't know anything. I mean, I've read about levitation, astral body travel. Something you ever saw like, or experienced that maybe shocked you as well?
It's not that I spent a lot of time there. I spent a few months on different occasions. But yes, I had a number of interesting experiences. Nothing like people levitating, but I met some wonderful monk practitioners there, and some not so wonderful ones also. So all in all, it was a very sort of colorful experience. I can tell you about this one monk I met in Gangotri, high up in the Himalayas. So this monk, he invited me to another monk of our order. Two of us, we went up with him to where he lived. He literally lived in a hole in the ground, and then just close to the river, the Ganga, which was just ice melted from the glacier. And he lived on a. He had to crawl inside on all fours. We crawled inside, and we followed him inside. It was pitch dark, and he sat there. And we asked him, "Why don't you live up there? There's a big cave, nice cave there." And he said, "Well, I wanted to, but there's a bear who lives there, and the bear is a kind of a bully. And so this hole, it's too small for the bear to enter. So that's why I live in this hole." And in that pitch dark, in there, with the roar of the river just a little muted, by the rocks, I still remember, he chanted and explained the 4th chapter of the Gita to us. So that I had numerous such experiences. Nothing magical or supernatural, though some monks did tell me about their own experiences.
I know, like my mom's guru is Neem Crowley Baba, and I know there's a lot of stories of him where he was out of his body, he used to do astral travel, and sometimes when he would make like puris and there was no oil, and then he would say go fetch a bucket of water, and then the puris would cook in that water. So I mean, I'm sure there are a lot of Siddhs, like Ramakrishna was also considered Siddh, right?
Yes, such things are possible. Such phenomena are possible. For example, the Yoga Sutras, Patanjali Yoga Sutras, speaks about a lot of Siddhis, occult powers. I have myself seen a little bit in some case of some monks, just a little bit here and there, like telepathy, in me knowing what's in the thoughts of another person. However, I must say that all great spiritual masters have cautioned us against pursuing these powers. They are so attractive that they can easily deviate a spiritual seeker from their spiritual goal. So just imagine, in this world, people are attracted by wealth or beauty or power or learning. So these are worldly powers. You can call them powers. Um, so these occult powers are even more attractive than this. And that's why many spiritual seekers in different religions of the world, it's not just that yogis get it. Anybody who engages in some serious spiritual pursuit is likely to develop some such powers. Yogis get it in a very powerful sense because those practices are designed to evoke, to awaken this energy. But even if you're a devotee who's devoted to God, bhakti, or even in the path of Vedantic inquiry, because you are oriented towards the ultimate reality, you will come across some of these phenomena. But we are strongly advised to keep our eyes on the goal and carefully avoid all this.
Because could these, even if you get these siddhis, there's a chance that you become egotistical and
Egotistical, addicted to them. Someone like Neem Karoli Baba or other great masters, they were already fully realized. And even when they did use these siddhis, they had these powers. It was mostly for the purpose of benefit of others and not to glorify themselves. Maybe just to create a little bit of faith in people who were still a little shaky, whether such a thing is possible. Does God exist? Does what religion says, is it true? Sometimes such demonstrations might attract people, but that's it. They are not very useful after that.
But this great kripa from fully realized, saints or someone who's enlightened, does it actually help you if you travel?
Absolutely. I'm glad you brought it up. Of all the spiritual powers, so-called occult powers, far higher, far greater is this grace you're talking about. This is the power, whether it comes straight from God, from Ishvara or Bhagavan. The effect of this power is always one, that it awakens spirituality in others. So, something that was sort of theoretical for me suddenly becomes real. You really, for example, believe in the existence of God if you're in the path of bhakti, or if you're path of meditation, you were trying all these years to concentrate. Maybe your mind was fickle, you're slowly progressing and not progressing, you didn't know, everything seemed mechanical. Suddenly it comes alive and you're absorbed in deep meditation for the first time. You're like sucked into it and stilled, mind is still. That is grace. Or in the path of knowledge, you were reading all these books and thinking and trying this meditation, that meditation, these pointing out pointers, and and all of it still seemed intellectual, not quite real. But suddenly you see, it's like the curtain is removed, and you begin to see what all these texts were talking about. Now you're no longer seeking. Now you know very clearly. Now the text starts speaking to you because you are in sync, in tune with what they're trying to say. All of this there's some grace there, because you realize it is not really a direct result of my efforts. It's not. You have to make the effort. But the effort is just like saying that I want it. You go to your mother and you must, make a fuss. I want this. But when it's given to you, it's given by the mother. It's not really, you didn't get it by yourself. But you made the demand. So our sadhana, you can think of it, our spiritual practices, what we do, devotion, meditation, Vedantic inquiry, whatever it is. It's like a child demanding something from God, the universe, or whatever it is, and then the answer comes. That's great.
Just before, we took our flight from Delhi, so we have a Kali Ma Murti in our home, like this big, and she was there with all the other gods and goddesses. So I took her out from the plane and I put her in front, and I started crying and shedding tears, and I said, Swami Sarvapriyananda is in India, Makali. You have to, make me do a episode with him. This is the only thing I want. And I said that, just like Ramakrishna ji told Vivekananda ji to ask him, I am asking you this. And then I believe in this, and this has happened.
See, and it happened.
Yeah.
It works.
It does. Why did God, who loves us so much, make this world?
That's old question and important question. Religions of the world, the religions which believe in God, they have to answer this question, because they have to. This is the question posed to them: if there is a God at all, God is powerful enough to create this world and is a good and loving God. So good and loving and omnipotent, all powerful. If you put them together, in that case, why is there suffering? Why is there evil? Like a good parent. See, parents want the best for us, for the children. But they're human parents, so they don't have the power to make everything all right for us. But if they could, they would. No, all parents would want that the children would not suffer. So God is our parent, father or mother. Why would God make us suffer? This is the question. In theology, this is called the problem of evil, problem of suffering, problem of evil. Notice this arises only in the God-centered religions. If you in Christianity or Islam or in Hinduism, you have Vaishnavism, Shaktism, Shaivism, God exists. So God is the center of that religion. If you don't have a God-centered religion, the question doesn't arise. If you ask this question to a Buddhist, why is there so much suffering? The answer will be, that's the nature of this world. Why did God create this world? They will say, God did not create this world. It's a material world. It's come up through material processes. And it's the very nature of this world that because of continuous change and our tendency to grasp what we like and fear what we do not like, the whole thing is changing. The result will be suffering. I like this thing, this place, this person, this job, this money, this social media, like.
Yeah.
And I want to hold on to it, have more and more of it. But it keeps on changing. So it will never be what I want it to be. Even if it is what exactly I want it to be, next moment, it will change. So it will produce suffering. And there are certain things I don't like in this world. I don't want to be ill. I don't want to be disliked. I don't want to fail. I don't want to be dishonored. But because everything is continuously changing, some of those things will also come my way. And they will go away again. The very nature of the world is such, the answer the Buddhist will give you, the very nature of the world is such that it produces suffering. This was the Buddha's first noble truth, that there is suffering. Sarvam dukkham. Suffering is all pervasive, because this is the very nature of the world. From a God-centered perspective, in Hinduism, what would the answer be? There are multiple answers. There is a book by Arthur Herman, The Problem of Evil in Indian Thought and the Problem of Evil. There he doesn't limit himself just to Indian systems. He looks across the world, all religions, and then he finds 23 answers to your question. 23 answers. So I suggest that book. None of those answers are very satisfying, but these are answers proposed by different religions, different times. You might be curious, what are these answers like? And give you a few of them. One answer is that God made this suffering in order to develop our character. Through suffering, one becomes strong. Or we might say, it seems reasonable only in some cases, that we go through a lot of suffering and we emerge stronger after that. But a child who's born and is ill or starving and dies, how did that child become stronger through that suffering? It's died. And animals in the world suffer all the time. All in nature is full of suffering. How are they becoming stronger by that suffering? So there's a limitation to that. It's called character building theory. It's a very limited kind of theory. That doesn't explain most of suffering in the world.
Which is your favorite?
Right. So I will say two. One is the one which Professor Herman also suggests, the theory of karma, causality. Everything is cause and effect in this world. Actions have consequences. Causes will have effect. So whatever we see happening in this world around us is a result of past karma. My own karma, everybody else's karma, the community's karma, all of that comes to fruition in front of me. And what do we do with this? What we do with this is that what we are doing now, what I'm thinking, saying, doing, is generating future karma. So if what I am now is the result of my past karma, what I will be in the future will be the result of my present karma. So you should interpret it not in a fatalistic way.
Yeah.
This is all my karma, what do I do? No. It should be interpreted in a positive way. So this is one theory, the law of karma. The ultimate theory which I like, Sri Ramakrishna was once asked the same question, why is there so much suffering in the world? He gave 3 levels of answers. The first level, he said, it's God is doing this, we can't understand. That seems like oversimplistic, but it just might be true. There might be things which are beyond, literally beyond our understanding. It could be that God is good, God is loving, and yet permits all this suffering. Maybe, but for what reason we cannot understand. It could be one answer. The person who asked him this question was not satisfied. He again asked, no, why is there so much suffering? The second answer which Sri Ramakrishna gave was, this is the Leela, the play of God. Again, that person was now outraged. He said, play of God, but it is death for us. It's his or her play. It's death for us. Third answer Sri Ramakrishna gave, and that's my favorite answer. For that, there's no reply. I mean, there's no comeback to that. So it's death for us. And Sri Ramakrishna said, but who are you? How is that an answer? If we investigate who I am, then I come to a realization that I'm one with God. In my own divine nature, there's actually no suffering. The one who is suffering and the one who has created this entire this play, they're one and the same. If I ask in my dream or nightmare, why am I suffering? The answer would be that this is a dream, it's a nightmare. Wake up, you'll see it's all right. So that answer, which is my favorite, is when put it in one word, it's Maya. So karma, Leela, Maya, take your pick.